What to do when you're in the in-between of an identity shift. Now, this is something that is so crucial and so important, and it comes up in every single identity shift that you make. So I want you to first understand, before I get to the point of what you can actually do, I want you to understand that being in the in-between of an identity shift and being in the waiting zone are two completely different things. What I don't want you to do is be in the in-between and feel like you're in the waiting zone and say, oh, I am in the waiting zone, and then claim that, and now that's your identity, and now you have to start kind of back at square one. So the waiting zone happens before you decide to do the work. So when you haven't done the things, when you haven't done the inner work, the inner child work, when you haven't taken healing into your own hands, when you haven't been radically aware or accepting or responsible of your frequency, when you haven't been paying attention to the energy behind your decisions or the energy behind your actions, you haven't been paying attention to embodiment, that is you in the waiting zone, because you're saying to the universe, well, it hasn't happened for me yet, so I guess I just have to sit here and wait. I guess I just have to be patient. I guess la 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 la. I'm going to twiddle my thumbs and it's going to fall into my lap one day because I just have to wait. I just have to wait. And then all of a sudden something's going to fall from the sky and then give me the life of my dreams. That is the waiting zone. Okay. That's being asleep to your own power. When you're in the in-between, it can feel like you're in the waiting zone because you're like, wait, what in the actual F is happening? You don't feel like this older identity, this older version of who you used to be. But you also don't really quite feel like that next level version of yourself yet. You don't really feel like you've broken through. You don't really feel like the person that you are becoming. And so you're in this tricky little space where now your cravings and interests are different. What used to please you in the past no longer pleases you. The kinds of conversations that used to activate you in the past are no longer activating. Maybe the kinds of content that you're watching are no longer like hitting in the ways that they used to. You're really like actively cleaning up different things that you're consuming, different ways that you're embodying, different ways that you're acting, different ways that you're behaving. And you're not really feeling like that new person, but you're not, you know that you're not that older version. You're just in the in-between. Now, if you're in this in-between, congratulations. This is a time to celebrate. It feels sometimes god awful if you don't know what's actually going on. What is actually going on is the shift itself. This is the potency of the shift. The shift, whether it's a quantum shift or an identity shift or perspective shift, the shift itself is not you already having the thing. The shift itself is the in-between. So congratulations, you are shifting. It might feel like a couple days. It might feel like a couple weeks, but it's usually no longer than that. Like if it's taking over a month, it's probably not the in-between. It's closer to maybe you found yourself all the way back into the waiting zone. Okay. So when you're in this in between, what do? Nothing's really feeling that potent anymore. Nothing's really feeling like it's guiding you towards that gravitational pull to guide you towards that future next level self. So you are doing the things that you know to do. You are energy cleansing yourself. You are shifting your perspective and monitoring your thoughts. You're being very observant. You're meditating. You're like doing the things that require that discipline, right? You're doing the things to stay consistent, but even that feels a little exhausting. Even it's starting to feel like a bit of a chore. It's starting to feel like, well, I'm doing all of these things to be a more disciplined version of who I am, to get to where I want to go, but I'm kind of feeling like I'm not seeing my results right now, so I'm a little bit discouraged. And it's okay to feel discouraged when you're in the shift. I don't want you to think that feeling discouraged is going to taint your vibration. This is the level of awareness that you get to have at this point in time to really sit in the, oh, I'm saying goodbye to one chapter and hello to another one right now, so let me tie up some of these loose ends. Let me create more space. Let me prepare for the newness to actually become my physical reality. What you can also do in this moment, which is very pivotal, super, super pivotal, is remember that in order for you to do the thing, it might require you to do nothing. To do nothing. Now, you're going to sit here and be like, wait, Mystique, I've just listened to your podcast episode where you told me to do the thing and do the thing and do it now and do it now and do the thing and do the thing and do it now and do it now. And yes, I did tell you to do that. I did. And with like the warmth in my heart and the tingles in my body and with the smile on my face that's ear to ear, I'm also telling you that sometimes doing the thing equals doing nothing. When you're in the in-between, doing nothing is sometimes, more often than not, the very best thing that you get to do. Why? Because there's a neutrality in it. You're no longer fighting for your life to become this new person. You're no longer saying, oh, I have to grind and hustle, right? You're no longer saying, oh, let me create this vision and again and again and again and hold it in my mind and act as if I already have it, even if I don't really feel that way yet. And, there's a type of grit that is great to have when you are developing your discipline and being consistent in it. And then there's also peace in the fact that you don't have to grind consistently or grind so hard. It's like, yes, maybe we needed to get that momentum going, but just like when you're on a bike, maybe the first few pedals are like, all right, we gotta get this going, right? You can't like take the smallest tiny bit of like effort or tiny bit of energy to make those wheels, to make the pedals go. You have to sometimes go, okay, we're starting from the ground up, so let's bootstrap it. Let's go ahead and have our, gear on. We're going to have this focus. We know exactly where we're going, and I'm going to put myself into the best position so that I can go ahead and push these pedals forward. And it's going to take some exertion. It will. And that's okay, because we're building the momentum from absolutely nothing, or building the momentum from something that was like very, very, very small beginnings. But now that you've pedaled enough, you get into the point of the in-between, and you're still not yet at the destination when you're riding this bike. However, you can actually take your feet off the pedals and glide a little bit and cruise a little bit. And guess what you get to do in this moment too? You get to look outside of just you pedaling. You get to look outside of the work that you're putting in or the focus that you're putting in. You get to look all around you and become observant of your surroundings. Oh, what's the weather like today? Oh, look, these tulips are blossoming right across the way from me. I didn't even know that. It wasn't there last week. Oh, okay. You know what? I have to remember to go to the store later today. All these things happen when you're in this bicycle ride, right? Same thing happens when you're in the in-between. You get to observe the changes and the shifts that are happening around you. It doesn't have to be a shift that you see personally in your external reality that is very specific to you. It could just be like, oh, my friend is going through this right now. I have an awareness of that. Or, oh, you know what? I'm really sensing this energetic shift happening within the world right now. And I'm really feeling it in general. It's like there's this potency. There's a different smell in the air. Like you get to experience the shift happening and just be observant. Just take inventory of some of the resources that you have. Take inventory of how it feels physically for you today. That's different than when you first started this process. How you feel emotionally today. That was different than when you first started this process. How you feel mentally today than what you first started as, right? Spiritually, how do you feel today? You can take inventory of that and register that, and how different your connection to your own spirit is now than it was when you started. Having awareness of all of these different aspects that have slightly changed in your life, even if you don't have your manifestation yet, even if you don't feel like you've broken through yet, even if you don't feel like that next level version of who it is that you're becoming yet, it's perfect. Take into account everything else that is happening, everything else that you get to perceive, everything else that everybody is going through around you as well. You get to take a look around you. And in this moment, you might feel like you have to wait for something, but it's not that you're stuck in the waiting zone. I believe there is a power in a very specific kind of waiting, but it depends on what your perspective is of this wait. Your perspective of waiting when you're in fear, or when you've given up, or when you feel like the universe is trying to teach you a lesson, or when you feel like the universe is punishing you. That kind of wait is something that you decide to hold you back. But there's another difference. There's a very small, thin line of a difference when you choose to wait for an opportunity. Yes, can you create your opportunities? Absolutely. But there's something very specific about an opportunity that the universe hands to you on a silver platter. Because again, we're not always looking to put so much effort in trying and working hard into every single thing that we do for every single manifestation from start to finish. There's waves to this. There's cycles to this. There's patterns to this. There is a fluidity to this. And sometimes us being able to wait for an opportunity that the universe is handing us will allow us to have a deeper and more specific connection to our intuition, because we're telling our intuition, I'm here, only waiting to listen to you. Not waiting to give up, not waiting to say, ugh, I never have enough money, not waiting to say, ugh, I never have this love that I want, not saying, ugh, I can never get into my dream body weight or my dream body goals, right? I can't wait. It's not like I can't wait, or I'm waiting for, something with this energy that's bringing me down. It's, wait, I'm going to listen and wait for something because I know something is coming. I'm going to wait and listen so that I'm not distracting myself too hard by overworking. I'm not distracting myself too hard by trying to do so many different things at once. I'm not distracting myself too hard because I'm choosing to take this opportunity to wait, to have a beat of silence, to have a beat of mindfulness, to have a beat of observation, so that when something comes in, because I know it's coming in, I can respond to it with seizing that opportunity instead of reacting to it of, why is this coming to me right now? I'm already busy doing all these things. You can easily F up your opportunities when you're still in the grind and hustle mindset. When you're so busy trying to get all these things done because you're now looking at it as a chore or a responsibility, like a negative responsibility, if you still have a negative connotation to responsibility, instead of the radical responsibility that feels like, oh, I'm taking ownership over my life. It's like a responsibility that's like, ugh, I have to do this all over again if I want to be rich and famous. I have to do this all over again if I want to be fit. I have to do this all over again if I want more clients. I have to do all this over again if I want to go and date someone and marry the man of my dreams, woman of my dreams, person of my dreams, right? It's not that kind of responsibility. It's like, oh, okay, hold on a second. I'm going to wait for this moment. Something is coming. The shift is here. It's like that quiet before the storm, but it's like the storm that's coming is only the storm of blessings and the storm of manifestations. I know that we talked about in another podcast having that storm kind of come through, and it's like, it's beautiful when the storm comes through because it's clearing things out. It's having us understand that these things also come in waves. There's an ebb and a flow, and that's all right. And then there's a different kind of storm where it's like, wait, things are very quiet. What's happening? What's happening? Let me see. Let me look around me. Let me take inventory. Let me register this. Let me process this. I can feel this. It's like you're in this in between. And in that moment, you get to decide for yourself, oh, I don't really have to do much. I can keep doing what it is that I've been doing to keep myself disciplined, but I don't have to go for it as hard anymore, as hard right now. I can cruise a little bit. I can sense what it's like to shift. I can feel grateful for every single thing that's happening in my life. This is a perfect time for gratitude. This is a perfect time for expressing your gratitude towards things in your life and your gratitude towards yourself for even taking these kinds of leaps of faith. And so when you're in here, you're sitting, you're watching, you're observing. It's kind of like when you have that warm cup of coffee and you're just out on your porch and it's about to rain and you can feel the air change and the electricity kind of comes on in the air and you just are sensing wow, this is going to be a very beautiful downfall of rain. And then when it's over, I'm going to get to see all of the beautiful creatures that come back out. I get to see the rainbow. I get to see the sun rays come back out after the storm. And it's going to feel so refreshing and so revitalizing and so pure. To help you understand this even better, there is an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Of course, I had to bring it up again, but there's an episode of Avatar where Aang, who is the bridge between both worlds, he is the most powerful person on the planet because he is the bridge between spirit and matter, which aka you are too. We are also the Avatar. We are the bridge between spirit and matter. And so Aang, who is the Avatar, is looking to free one of his friends who has been imprisoned. And he's a king. So this king got imprisoned and is about to be taken over by this group of people called the Fire Nation. So King Bumi is his name, is the king of the Earth Kingdom. And he got captured. And the Fire Nation is trying to make sure that he doesn't get out of prison. But what happens is that Aang, his old friend, is like, you know what, Bumi, I'm going to go find you and I'm going to go take you and release you. You're no longer going to be in prison and we're going to take over the Fire Nation and we're going to beat them and it's going to be great. And as soon as Aang finds out where King Bumi is and finds him, he's like, all right, let's escape. And he starts going through this escape plan without even talking to King Bumi. And King Bumi the whole entire time is like, hey, Aang, like, I have to talk to you. Like, wait, hold on a second. Like, please, like we can't go. And once they finally get to the destination where they're safe, Aang was like, wait a second. Why don't you want to be saved? Why are you wanting to be imprisoned? And King Bumi is like, it's all a part of my plan. It's all a part of my plan. And Aang is like, I don't understand this. I'm here to save you. And the Fire Nation's taking over your whole entire kingdom and destroying everything. And you want to stay imprisoned? And he's like, yes. Have you ever heard the 3 kinds of Jings? And Aang is like, yes, there's positive Jing when you are attacking or enforcing something. And there's negative Jing when you're retreating or you're on the offense. And then King Bumi is like, okay, but have you ever heard of the 3rd Jing, which is neutral Jing? And Aang is like, what? No, I've never heard of this. And he's like, neutral Jing is when you do absolutely nothing. Sometimes in life, there is a moment where you have to enforce and defend or attack or push forward. Then there's other times where you have to retract and play the offensive. There's times where you run away or hide, or you're trying to get away from something. But then there's that neutral Jing where you sit and you pay close attention and you watch your surroundings and you listen and you wait for the right opportunity to strike. And that is exactly how King Bumi was able to not only get himself out of his imprisonment, but take back his whole entire kingdom by himself with no soldiers, no military, no army, no nothing. Himself and himself only was able to defeat the Fire Nation from his specific kingdom and return it all back to how it used to be. He didn't need anyone else. He knew that he was able to do it by himself, but he also knew it wasn't his time to move forward and attack. It also wasn't his time to run away. He actively chose to do nothing, because he is the kind of person that understands that there's these different waves in life. And there's ebbs and there's flows. But even though there's ebbs and flows in an ocean, there are still some days where you find it perfectly still. And in those days, it's serene. In those days, it's quiet. In those days, not much is happening. In those days, it could be easy to say, well, I miss the waves. But there's something so pure, and there's something so informative, and there's something so enlightening about having a moment where the ocean is calm and still. And it can feel weird because we're used to the ocean being so turbulent sometimes. We're used to the ocean having these big waves. So when it's calm, it's like, uh-oh, what's happening? We don't always have to be worried in those moments. We don't always have to be worried in those moments. It's just the in-between. I'll give you another example to really integrate and digest this particular lesson that I'm showing you today. Yesterday was Easter Sunday. And on Sundays, that's usually my self-care day. That's usually my day where I'm like, I get to do whatever I want. And I get to, I have class on Sundays, so I'll take my class for 2 hours and I won't really do much in my day. Then I realized, which I did to myself, and that's totally fine, I started taking on more dance. I do salsa, bachata, West Coast swing dancing. If you've been listening for a while, you know this, but I do like dance classes during the week, and I decided to do like a dance partnership on Sundays, and that's still very fulfilling to me. So I'm like, okay, it's still self-care, right? But yesterday was Easter Sunday, there was other things going on, and then family wanted to hang out, and then I'm hanging out with them, I'm feeling good, it's all right, like nothing's too crazy. I go back to my house and I'm like, all right, well, I got home early today, like let me do all the things, like let me go to work, let me look at my emails, let me respond to clients, let me, clean my room. It's Sunday, like I should be doing all these things. And my body physically was rejecting that. And I was like not understanding, because I'm like, no, like I want to be disciplined. I want to stay disciplined. I want to stay consistent. I don't want to fall back. Like I got to do these things that I set my mind forth. I got to start the week off right. Like I have to do all these things. And my body was like, no. And I'm like, I'm lazy. Like, why am I feeling so lazy right now? Like all I have to do is like this, and the other thing. I don't know why my body is rejecting this. And after a long debate within my mind and my body and my soul, my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, I got to a point where I was like, all right, you know what? Let me just energy cleanse myself, because obviously whenever I'm feeling a little bit outside of myself, to come back home to me, energy cleansing is the very first thing that I like to do. So I'm like, let me just start with hopping into the shower. So I go into the bathroom, I'm turning on the hot water, and I look into the mirror, and the mirror is where I do a lot of manifestation work for myself. And the mirror is where I can easily look straight into like the soul that's right in my eyes. I'll like stare myself right in the eyes and look directly at my soul. And I feel as if I can literally talk to every single parallel universe, dimension, version, higher self of me, right? Like all the different versions of who I am. I feel like I can speak directly to them whenever I'm looking in a mirror and doing that. Now, mind you, I have my mirrors locked. So I lock them with Reiki. I lock them with Florida water. If you want a tutorial or some sort of explanation on how to lock your mirrors before you do any of this kind of work, then definitely ask me and request that. But I lock them so that there's no weird energies that can kind of come through, and it's just me doing my own personal work, right? And it's super protected. So I'm looking myself in the eyes and I'm doing this process. And the very first thing, once I like locked in, the very first thing one of the versions said to me, and I believe this was my next level version, she looked at me and she was like, girl, it's Sunday. It's self-care day. You don't have to do anything. Like you get to do nothing today. It's totally fine. If you want to start up with your consistency and discipline again tomorrow, that's fine. You get to do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, Sunday is self-care day. Like, why did I just get into my head about like, I have to do all these things and la, la, la. Like, I get to just kind of lay in bed. I get to just sit on my couch. I get to just pet my dogs. I get to just watch this movie. I get to just like enjoy my dinner and not have to be preoccupied with all the ways in which I have to serve other people. And even if I'm not breaking down, but like pulling out my yoga mat and doing my Pilates, even if I'm not like taking all the trash out of my room and like doing my laundry, like, that's okay. Like all those things will get done. But what my body is telling me right now is that I've already done so many things this morning and in the afternoon that my evening can just be for me and me only, in whatever way that my body wishes to respond to that. Because this whole entire week I have been super disciplined. So having one day, or even smaller than that, having a couple hours where I wasn't actively meditating or actively cleaning my room or actively doing X, Y, and Z, that's fine. I can give myself grace, because this is not one of those marathons where I have to keep going and pushing every single day. I get to do nothing as well. In that awareness of getting to do nothing, I'm staying disciplined. This is a part of my discipline, because staying disciplined and consistent doesn't always mean that I am exerting so much effort and exerting so much fuel that I have. Sometimes me being disciplined and maintaining myself is refueling myself, even if that doesn't actively look like anything super specific or anything super spiritual. And I just had to really realize that for myself yesterday. And I said, no, like I do become my next level self from doing nothing. It's not that I'm doing nothing every single day, but when my body and my mind are telling me, or my emotions or my spiritual body's telling me, hey, you get to just do whatever. Like, it's all right. You can still manifest and do whatever. You can still manifest and not have to force anything. You can still manifest and not have to stay, in an activated mindset or activated energy. It took so much pressure off of me that I said, okay, like totally awesome. Great. Like, yes, like Sometimes I fall asleep to these things too, but that's perfectly fine because I have that radical acceptance and radical responsibility to take complete ownership of my life and understand that everything that I do is done with intention. Everything that I do is done with integrity. Everything that I do is done with a deep understanding and a deep inner knowing that I'm always following the right path. There is no wrong path in my life. I'm always following my intuition. Even when I try not to, some part of my body is going to tell me, hey, relax. Hey, listen to your intuition. Hey, this is what we want from you right now. This is all that we expect of you right now. And that is perfectly fine to have those moments. If you find yourself, however, having these moments where every single day becomes a nothing day, then we may have a little bit of an issue, because you do have to remember that momentum is created through you building it and through you deciding it and through you establishing it and then maintaining it. And from there you can cruise. So today or yesterday, I always say yesterday and today, to be honest with you, are my cruising days. I'm still here with you on a podcast, even though it's my cruising day. Why? Because it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to make sure and do this podcast for my community. It's like, oh, I can't wait to do this podcast for my community. This is something that I'm in love with. So it's just now a natural byproduct. It wasn't always like that. At the very, 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 very beginning of my podcast journey, I was like, okay, I have to plan out all my podcasts. I have to sit down and I have to script them. And then I'm going to pop them into ChatGPT to make sure that it's easy to listen to and people will want to listen to it. And then all these things. And then I have to go and get my microphone from this place and I have to make sure. And it was just something that felt so much like a responsibility. But now I'm looking forward to the days where I get to hop on and provide a podcast for everybody, because not only am I doing it completely different than how I used to, I no longer am over analyzing or overthinking something. I just tap into my intuition and say, what do my clients need to hear right now? What is a lesson that I've learned recently? Or what is something that I remembered? What is something that I had to jot down? What is something that feels potent and activating for me? And let me just go ahead, press record on my phone, not even mess with any microphone equipment, not even mess with a soundproof studio. You can hear the birds chirping. You can hear when trucks come by. You can hear when the train is rolling. You can hear when the wind is blowing. Like, you can hear it all. And I don't care, because my message is so much more potent, right? Why I'm doing it is more potent than how I'm doing it, right? And that's what's so important for me. And so I hope that that becomes something that is familiar to you as well, where you can have a nothing day or a nothing half a day, or maybe a nothing 2 days, but realize that even in the doing nothing, you're still doing something, right? It's like everything is a paradox. Everything is a metaphor in this life. So play around with it, because ultimately I'm going through a massive shift myself, and I find myself in this in-between, and I find myself in a realm where I get to kind of do nothing, and I'm still showing up for myself. I'm still showing up for my clients. I'm still providing feedback. I'm still feeling super activated. I'm still feeling alive. I'm still feeling very joyful. I'm still feeling very blissed out. And it's no longer a responsibility to have to maintain this discipline. My discipline is already a part of me. And that's all that I needed. And so I literally feel it in my bones. Like, you guys have no idea. I feel it in my bones that even me, myself, feeling in this in-between for however long it's going to take. It could take just today. It could take 3 days. It could take a whole week. But I know deeply in my core that there is something big happening for me very, very soon that I wouldn't even be able to expect. And it's going to be such positive good news. It's going to be that breakthrough. It's going to be that quantum shift. It's going to be something that it's like, oh, this is why I do this for others. This is why I guide others. This is why I help others. This is why I support others. This is why I show others the light, because it's this. I will reap the rewards. I will benefit from the discipline I've had. I will discipline from the consistency. I will discipline. I'm getting so excited I can't even talk. I will benefit from the input to the cave, and I will receive those echoes stronger and stronger and stronger. And I will feel so pleased, not only during the process, but when I'm at my destination as well. And when I'm at my destination, I will share it with you. I don't know what it is just yet. I have my vision, but I'm not sharing my vision yet. I'm not going to break that vibration and that sacred trust that I have with myself and share that with you yet. But when I'm there and it's already been accomplished, I'm going to come on here and have a little party for all of us who are experiencing such great wins. But I feel it to be true. I feel it in my bones. There's a knowing. Things are looking different around me. Here right now, just to give you an understanding, it's like the gloomiest day. It's been raining for 3 days straight. I can't even tell you where the sun is. The sky, when I look up, it's gray. Some of the birds are chirping, but everything has this muted color because the sunshine is not coming through the clouds. All the ground is wet. And yet, I still feel this charge, this electric charge in the universe, that things are working out in my way. And I'm having this neutral jing energy about me where I'm waiting, I'm being observant, I'm listening to my surroundings. I'm taking a toll, or I'm taking some inventory of the resources that I have right now to help propel me forward. I'm doing my work, I'm staying activated. And there's just this inner knowing, this inner feeling where I didn't really receive a manifestation today. I don't really feel like my next level self today yet. I don't really have a breakthrough to report to you. But the state of being that I'm in is almost enough. It's almost enough. It should be all of enough, but it's like, of course, there's that ego part of me that wants to see me have it. But I've been in the being stage. I've been in the doing stage. And I feel like I keep going in between be and do and be and do and be and do and be and do to where the having portion of it, like the actual having portion, is literally bound to be my next step. I just know that in my soul. And if you're listening to this, I know that you resonate. And you will get to feel this in your soul too. And I'm just so excited for the both of us. I'm excited for all of us. I'm excited for anyone who's tapping into this frequency, because we can all see each other here, recognize each other here. We're playing on the same level of expansion, of expanding our capacity to receive good fortune, good luck, good energy, great conversation, soul connections, lots of sales in our business. I could just feel it for us all. So, my loves, even though it's gloomy over here today, I'm still sending sunshine your way. And for you listening to this right now, know as well that I always have a giveaway every single month. And this month, the giveaway is for my Beyond Balance program that you would have access to for free for just writing a review, either through a DM or on my emails or even on YouTube and Spotify. If something really landed for you, write a beautiful review or even share one of these podcast episodes from YouTube or Spotify to your email list and make sure that you CC me so I can see it. You get unlimited entries, and at the end of the month, I will reveal who the winner is. I love you all so much, and I can't wait for you to do nothing today.